It's the Bundesliga's biggest game, and the Signal Iduna Park sets the scene for Borussia Dortmund against Bayern Munich, facing off for the first time this season. But it is the 107th Klassiker of the Bundesliga era. This is no longer headlined by Erling Haaland and Robert Lewandowski. Now it's two teenage starlets that are taking all the limelight right now in Jude Bellingham and Jamal Musiala. There will be a lot of talk about those two players throughout this coverage. Today's game is the first time in 13 years in which neither Bayern nor Dortmund are top of the league coming into it. In fact, they're not even in the top two spots, but they are level on points right now with a vastly superior goal difference, it must be said. Thank you so much for being with us for the Klassiker. My name is Kay Murray, this is Ali Moreno, and this is a great test to see where Bayern are actually at, Ali, because in their last two games after coming back from the international break, they've scored 9 goals without reply, but it was against a struggling Leverkusen and Victoria Pilsen in the Champions League.
Well, both of these teams have taken the scenic route to get to where they are right now in Bundesliga. Now, if you had mentioned to both Borussia Dortmund and Bayern Munich, look, you're going to be even in points when you play their Klassiker, they may have said at the beginning of the season, yeah, that's realistic. If we are perhaps tied for first, not third and fifth. And so if you think about Bayern Munich and what they have been this season, there seems to be a turnaround. They seem to be trending in the right direction. So today is the big test. Today is the moment to say, is this team back to normal or are we back in a crisis?
And what the Champions League has offered Borussia Dortmund is the fact that they can come into this clash on the back of a good win. Yes, it was against Sevilla, who've been struggling in La Liga so far, but it's a good way to do it. This is how things look midweek for both of these sides. As for Bayern, they're beating Victoria Pilsen 5-0 at home. 4-1 it was for Borussia Dortmund against Sevilla on the road. They are second in Group G with 6 points. And so that is a nice way for them to be heading into this clash. A home clash as well. It is a little hard, though, to know what to expect from them this season. But one thing we can show you, what you can see right now in terms of their lineups, is this for Borussia Dortmund. It is going to be a back three, and Mats Hummels did make it, LA.
So Hummels was out, was in, out, and he's in again. Injury concerns, but he will play in this big matchup. Now, Meyer keeps his place in goal. There was conversation after Gregor Kobel was going to be returning back to the lineup. Sulin, he's going to have a big role if indeed this is a back three. Think of all the speed and all the rotations that Bayern Munich will have in the attack. And of course, you cannot talk about a Borussia Dortmund lineup without highlighting Jude Bellingham and how important he has been as this team transitions forward. Now, for Bayern Munich, concerns about Thomas Müller, concerns about Joshua Kimmich. They were COVID positive last weekend. Kimmich back to COVID negative, however, not good enough to start. Thomas Müller not even available. So that means that Savitzer and Goretzka will play in the middle of midfield. That's an interesting pairing for them. As to what De Ligt does, he keeps his position as Lucas Hernandez continues to be hampered by a groin injury.
So let's get to the hosts here, because they slipped to their third defeat of the Bundesliga season last week against Cologne. They've won 5 of 8 games. The other 3 they've lost. They're scoring less goals than they usually do, but they're conceding less as well. So it's kind of hard to know who this Borussia Dortmund actually are right now.
So you and I can have this conversation and try to figure out, okay, what is it that this team is all about? And we're going to have a difficult time, but that's okay if it's just you and I. The issue is that I think Edin Terzic and this team in general don't really know who they are. And that's concerning. It's one thing if we don't know who they are, but I don't think they know who they are themselves. This is a team, and you just mentioned, you just alluded to it, 4 out of their 5 wins have been 1-0. They've won those games, and you're thinking, well, this is a team that can defend. But this is then the same group that has meltdowns against Werder Bremen, against Leipzig, against Köln, and then you say, well, no, they cannot defend. I don't know that they know exactly what's home for them, what feels right for them, what is their identity and who they are as a group. If they're able to figure out who they are in time for this match, they'll have an opportunity. If not, it may get difficult.
Yeah, and speaking about meltdowns, it feels as though it's something that's an anxiety for them, as if they're almost expecting this. We even heard this from Dortmund coach Edin Terzic after the loss to Cologne. He said, after every game we win, you ask me the question, what are the ambitions? What are the goals for this season? We always put the brakes on, the euphoria, exactly because of games like today, because it happens repeatedly that we give away those games that we completely controlled. It is lacking for years to be able to knock at the absolute top. We will work on this. Well, we are very happy to be welcoming in a man who knows the Bundesliga very well and a man who knows Edin Terzic very well. Over to you, Archie Rintut, with Hannes Wolf.
Thanks, Kay. Yes, Hannes Wolf, former Bundesliga coach of Bayer Leverkusen, Stuttgart and Hamburg, currently the DFB's under-20s coach, a Dortmund boy, and formerly the head coach to Edin Terzic's assistant coach, and you played up front with him at uni. So you know him quite well, it's fair to say.
Yeah, I know him very good. We are real friends, very connected, and we studied together. It's now it's a long time ago, and we worked together for 3 years here in Dortmund and under 17. I was head coach, he was assistant coach, but it was so clear that he's amazing, and I'm really proud about what he's doing and what he's already done in his career.
So what do you think has been the problem in those games that he's talked about against Werder Bremen and against Cologne so far this season? Is there a fear factor, or would you put it down to something different?
No, for me it's not a fear factor, because they were leading 2-0 against Bremen and they were leading 1-0 in Cologne. It was a lack of activity. They were not ready to defend 100%, and when you're not ready, you lose a little bit your position, and the Bundesliga is too strong. When you're out of position, then you have problems to defend. So they gave this 6 points away, and otherwise they would have another position for this match tonight.
What do you mean by a lack of activity exactly?
Yeah, that you don't see the fear coming when you stand in the last line, and you don't see it coming, and you don't feel it coming, and then you are 1 second too late, and then this 1 second you miss and you have no chance. And this they need tonight against Bayern Munich. It's crystal clear. You needed 93 minutes being active, being ready to defend all the time, and getting periods where you attack, where you put the pressure on Bayern, and that this beautiful stadium comes with the team.
The starting lineup today, Hannes and I think that it's going to be a back four from Dortmund, with Niklas Süle going to right back like he did for Bayern on a few occasions last year. And up front, Youssoufa Moukoko instead of Anthony Modeste. What do you make of that decision? What will Moukoko bring that Modeste won't?
Yeah, first I really think it's a four line, because someone has to play out of position, and the clearest thing in when it's Süle on the right side, because he played it in Bayern a lot of times. I think Brandt will play in front of him to help him to defend the strong left side of Bayern. Yeah, and Moukoko, he had a good match in Sevilla. He was giving an assist. He's fast. He can do the sprints you need, and yeah, Modeste can come in to bring energy, to bring his experience, to bring his quality with the head in the duels. But Moukoko to start, and they have speed to attack the Bayern with runs.
The centerpiece of this Borussia Dortmund side right now, though, is Jude Bellingham. You've been telling me that you think that he's not just a superstar of tomorrow, he's a superstar right now. Explain why exactly you believe that.
Yeah, I think today we will see Emre Can in the center, Can left from Emre Can, and Bellingham on the right side, so 1-6 and Bellingham as an 8. Yeah, he's already with 19 years, he's amazing. Personality, how much he can run, he can defend on their own box, then he goes in front to score a goal. He wins the duels, he's strong technically in passing, but even in dribbling, so he's a complete package. But the most amazing thing is how constant he is, the intensity he has. So for me, even now he's a superstar, and not in 2 or 3 years.
And you always know, Kay, if Jude Bellingham is swimming around somewhere here behind us, because you just hear these big cries of Jude ringing through the stadium. If he makes a big sliding tackle early on as well, you'll hear that pretty soon. Back to you.
Thanks so much, guys. Yeah, I'm sure we will. And we mentioned at the top of the show that this is a clash now being highlighted by these teenage starlets on the other side of things. You have Jamal Musiala. Now, what a performance, what a display he's been putting on this season so far. We're hearing the likes of Derek Ray saying this is a man who is undroppable. First name on the team sheet for Bayern Munich right now. He's 19 years old. Lothar Matthäus has been saying he's going to be a superstar of the planet.
Ah. Okay, high expectations, I suppose. So I'll see your Bellingham, and I'll race you Jamal Musiala. Here's the thing about Jamal Musiala. He is such a talent and in terms of the variety of what he brings to the game. And I don't think I'm the only one to say that. I don't think Derek Ray is the only one to say that. Julian Nagelsmann feels very strongly about his player. He said that last week, and the moments in which he has spoken about Jamal Musiala, he's been so complimentary and so supportive of his player.
Well, actually, we can hear what Julian Nagelsmann had to say specifically about Jamal Musiala to Archie last week.
He's young and very talented. That's one topic. He's not 35, so at the end he could improve a lot in the future as well, but he's really, really good at the moment. He's brilliant in dribbling. He's has the capability to use both feet in dribbling, to have quick movements when he's ball in his feet, and to get into free spaces by dribbling. But I think the most important step this season is that he's brilliant in defense as well. When you see the national game with the national team, he won a duel against Harry Maguire, and then they scored a goal today. He had a lot of ball-winning moments as well, that he could play good things in ball possession. He's brilliant dribbling and could score goals. It's, I know everybody knows it in Europe.
Yeah, Jamal Musiala really turning it on so far for Bayern this season. Top scorer in the side as well. Obviously, the goals have been getting shared around. But he just looks as though he has no pressure on him either, Ale, coming into the games of this magnitude.
Well, he may not have pressure, but I can tell you this much. There's a level of expectation. When you have people like Lothar Matthäus speaking about you, it's because you're a talented player. Lothar Matthäus is not talking about just anybody. He's talking about guys and kids, in this case, Jamal Musiala, who he feels can be the future not only of Bayern Munich, but of the German national team. And there are obvious reasons as to why you talk about Jamal Musiala. We have seen time and time again during the season the variety that he brings to this team in the attack. He can get in behind. He can find touches. He can find passes. This is a tight area for him to deliver a pass. Delivers it to Leroy Sané, 1-0. Okay, what else can he do? He can run in behind and create his own space, and then division to combine with Thomas Muller, who's trailing the play. Can he provide the final touch? Well, based on this evidence, apparently he can do that too. What else can Jamal Musiala do? I think his best attribute is his dribbling tight spaces. Now, full disclosure, this goal didn't count, and he got lucky with a little rebound that fell to Sadio Mane. Regardless, it's just the idea that he attracts attention, and he's able to break through that pressure. There are 4 players around him, it's like they're not even there. That's the sort of ability that Jamal Musiala has. Talent, skill, speed, and then there is a personality about him that continues to get better and better and better. I love my son Jamal Musiala.
And I'm sure it's the exact same feeling over at the Signal Iduna Park with Archie and Hannes when we do talk about this player, Jamal Musiala.
Here we go. Yes, Kay. Sorry. We just had somebody walk through our shop, having to be protective of our space here in Dortmund. Jamal Musiala, Hannes, what makes him so special, putting him on this same level as Jude Bellingham right now?
Yeah, he plays a different position. He's higher on the pitch, and he has unbelievable qualities in dribbling, so you never can get him from the ball easy, and he has such a great vision, and this combination makes him a great player. He can score, he can assist. He already brings the numbers in his young age, so an amazing player, very, very strong, and yeah, Dortmund has to take care about him.
How do you see the way that Bayern are going right now? Because it feels like the performances on the whole have been good, but those results not so much, and they have consequences in Munich.
Yeah, when you don't win 4 matches in the Bundesliga in a row at Bayern Munich, you always have pressure, and now they won 1 against Leverkusen, but it's not clear now in this moment. They lost Lewandowski, who already scored 40 to 50 goals in one season when you see all the competitions, so it's not clear, and there's pressure for them even to win this match.
So where do you stand on the Robert Lewandowski debate? Does it bring greater flexibility to Bayern to play without him, or not?
Yeah, it brings perhaps flexibility, but when you lose a player who scores so many goals, then it's always an issue. And I don't think they get better without him. That's not clear for me. And there's one thing: they lose the opportunity for the high crosses. So they were so strong in the past with him to play high crosses and to score from crosses. And this they lost a little bit. So you can bring them to the wing, let them cross, and then Dortmund is physically stronger than them. So this thing they lost, and I cannot say they are getting stronger without Robert Lewandowski when you saw what he did over years.
Just on a leadership front, looking through that team, Joshua Kimmich on the bench today, no Thomas Müller because of him testing positive for coronavirus earlier in the week. And you think about the leaders that they've lost in this team, like Thiago, like Robert Lewandowski, like David Alaba. Are there enough characters out on that pitch today? Forget about the technical quality. Like, is that something that they are missing, perhaps?
Yeah, they are still the favorite because they have amazing players. But you are right. Without Thomas Müller, without Kimmich, who is the real leader on the six, that changes something. They are still the favorites, but not that clear as it was in the last years, perhaps.
And just want to go to a theory that you have floated, which is about the way that Dortmund set up today against Bayern to stop them. You think that this 4-5-1 that they are playing is important. Why exactly?
Yeah, I think when you see Mané, Gnabry, Musiala, when you see these guys, they are so strong in turning and in playing in the half spaces in the center. And when they start to play 1-2 fast playing there, then you always have an issue. So I would close the center, don't give them low passes to the center, bring them to the wing. And yeah, perhaps in the end they play the cross, but then you can head it away. But the other thing that is important for Dortmund, that they get periods where they attack, where they put pressure on the ball, because then the stadium will come. If you only defend over 93 minutes, you have no chance against Bayern.
We'll see shortly, Kay, if that is indeed what happens, and if Dortmund are able to keep Bayern out. Back to you.
Well, Leverkusen certainly weren't able to keep Bayern out last weekend, but it is fair to say they were having a lot of trouble, so much so that Gerardo Seoane was sacked after that game, and since then, Xabi Alonso has been appointed. Now, before we show you what happened in his first game as Leverkusen coach, let's hear from him speaking before it.
Since I finished 5 years ago, I have been following the Bundesliga. I've seen that it's improving year by year with great players, great coaches. And it's so exciting to be here in such great stadiums in front of my new home, new fans, and really looking forward to have a good start.
And it's fair to say a good start it was as well for his team. Everybody was wondering what would happen. This is a man with so much pedigree when it comes to football, winning the Champions League with Liverpool, winning the Champions League with Real Madrid. But he's got a lot of work to do here. This is how the Xabi Alonso era got underway. An absolute scream for the opening goal from Moussa Diaby here.
Okay, well, this helps. You're a genius, Xabi Alonso. When players can do this sort of thing. What a talent that was, and what a hit from Diaby.
41st minute, Jeremy Frimpong gets in on the action to make it 2-0.
The speed of Frimpong, always a threat, good overlapping run, well-timed pass by Diaby, good finish to the far post.
Into the second half as well, Frimpong was going to get back onto the score sheet.
Those two combining once again, the speed of Frimpong getting behind, not the cleanest finish, but it is perfect.
And then we take it late on as well to the 90th minute, and it was going to be a nice 4-0 Paulinho with the closing goal here. And that was a great start. 4 goals and 3 points for Xabi Alonso's Leverkusen side, and these, the rest of the results. Look at that, bottom side Bochum against the in-form Frankfurt, 3-0. That game finished. And then on Friday night, we saw the newly promoted Werder Bremen with a 2-1 win over Hoffenheim. But we will be returning our attentions to the Klassiker after this short pause. Stick around with us. We have Borussia Dortmund against Bayern Munich coming off. We cannot wait to see what happens in today's Klassiker.